Welcome to Chapter 10 18th Century Political Formations. The Mughals created an empire in Indian subcontinent and controlled it until the 17th century. They started facing a variety of crises towards the closing years of the 17th century. By 1765, the British had captured major chunks of Indian territory in eastern India. Boundaries of the Mughal Empire were reshaped by the emergence of a number of independent kingdoms. After Aurangzeb's death, the Mughal Empire started to decline because of weak and inefficient rulers. States like Hyderabad, Oudh, Bengal, and states under the control of Sikhs and Marathas declared independence. The declining power of the Mughals also gave rise to some regional powers like the Jats, Sikhs, and Marathas. Mughal Empire started declining under Emperor Aurangzeb. He depleted or drained the military and financial resources of his empire by fighting a long war in the Deccan. Under his successors, the efficiency of the imperial administration broke down. It became difficult to check governors and mansabdars. Nobles appointed as governors or subadars often controlled the offices of revenue and military administration. Diwani and Faujdari were the Mughal offices of revenue and military administration. As the governors consolidated their control over the provinces, the periodic remission of revenue to the capital declined. After Aurangzeb's death, the Mughals gradually lost their power. In the northern and western India, the Mughals faced many rebellions, including revolts of peasants and zamindari. These revolts were caused by the pressures of increasing taxes. These groups were now able to seize the economic resources of the region to consolidate their positions. The Mughal emperors after Aurangzeb were unable to arrest the gradual shifting of political and economic authority into the hands of provincial governors, local chieftains, and other groups. In the midst of this crisis, Nader Shah's invasion in 1739 and invasions of Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali between 1748 to 1761 weakened the Mughal Empire. Nader Shah, the ruler of Iran, sacked and plundered the city of Delhi in 1739 and took away immense amounts of wealth. This invasion was followed by a series of plundering raids by the Afghan ruler Ahmad Shah Abdali. He invaded North India 5 times between 1748 and 1761. Mughal Empire was further weakened by competition among different groups of nobles. They were divided into two major groups, the Iranis and Turanis. For a long time, the later Mughal emperors were puppets in the hands of either one or the other of these two powerful groups. Two Mughal emperors, Farrukhsiyar and Alamgir II, were assassinated, and two others, Ahmad Shah and Shah Alam II, were blinded by their nobles. Emergence of new states. Through the 18th century, the Mughal Empire gradually fragmented into a number of independent regional states. Those states can be divided into 3 overlapping groups. States that were old Mughal provinces like Oudh, Bengal, and Hyderabad. They were extremely powerful and quite independent. The rulers of these states did not break their formal ties with the Mughal emperor. States that had enjoyed considerable independence under the Mughals as Watan Jagirs. These included several Rajput principalities. The last group included states under the control of Marathas, Sikhs, and others like the Jats. These were of different sizes and had seized their independence from the Mughals after a long drawn armed struggle. The old Mughal provinces, Awadh, Bengal, and Hyderabad, the three important states that were formed out of the old Mughal provinces. These states were founded by members of the high Mughal nobility who had been governors of large provinces. Saadat Khan, Awadh, Murshid Quli Khan, Bengal, and Asaf Jah, Hyderabad were the founders of these states. All the three had occupied high mansabdari positions and enjoyed the trust and confidence of the Mughal emperors. Both Asaf Jah and Murshid Quli Khan held a Zat rank of 7,000 each, while Saadat Khan's Zat was 6,000. The Mansabdari system was introduced by Mughal Emperor Akbar as new administrative machinery and revenue system. The word Mansab is of Arabic origin, meaning rank or position. The Mansabdari system determined the rank and status of a government official and military generals. Every civil and military officer was given a Mansab, which determined their salaries and allowances. The term Mansabdar means a person having a Mansab. Hyderabad. Nizamul Mulk Asaf Jah was the founder of Hyderabad state. He was a powerful member at the court of the Mughal Emperor Farrukh Ziyar. Initially, he was entrusted with the governorship of Awadh and later given charge of the Deccan. As the governor of the Deccan provinces, he had already gained control over its political and financial administration. During 1720 to 22, he gathered power in his hands and became the actual ruler of that region. Asaf Jah brought skilled soldiers and administrators and appointed Mansabdars and granted Jagirs. Jagir means land ownership. Jagirs were given to the Mughal officers in return for their services. In the later period, when the Mughal Empire was declining, when there was a shortage of land to be given as Jagirs, crown lands were given, which resulted in the loss of revenue and hence a weakening of Mughal economy. Although he was still a servant of the Mughal emperor, he ruled quite independently without seeking any direction from Delhi. The Mughal emperor merely confirmed the decisions already taken by the Nizam. The state of Hyderabad was constantly engaged in a struggle against the Marathas to the west and with independent Telugu warrior chiefs. His ambition was to control the rich textile producing areas of the Coromandel coast in the east, but it was checked by the British, who were becoming powerful in that region. Awadh. In 1722, Burhanul Mulk Saadat Khan was appointed Subadar of Awadh and founded a state. Subadar was a provincial governor of the Mughal Empire. Awadh was a prosperous region controlling the rich alluvial Ganga plain and the main trade route between North India and Bengal. He also held the combined offices of Subadari, Diwani, and Faujdari. That means he was responsible for managing the political, financial, and military affairs of the province of Awadh. Burhanul Mulk tried to decrease Mughal influence in the Awadh region by reducing the number of office holders or Jagirdars appointed by the Mughals. He also reduced the size of Jagirs and appointed his own loyal servants to vacant positions. The accounts of Jagirdars were checked and the revenues of all districts were reassessed by officials appointed by the Nawab's court. The state of Oudh depended on local bankers and Mahajans for loans. It sold the right to collect tax to the highest bidders. Ijaradars were revenue farmers. During the Mughal period, they were tasked with collecting revenue from farmers and paying a fixed sum to the government. In the state of Oudh, these revenue farmers or Ijaradars agreed to pay the state a fixed sum of money. Local bankers guaranteed the payment of this contracted amount to the state. In return, the revenue farmers were given considerable freedom in the assessment and collection of taxes. This allowed new social groups like moneylenders and bankers to influence the management of the state's revenue system. Bengal. Murshid Quli Khan was the naib or deputy to the governor of the Bengal province appointed by the Mughal rulers. He was only deputy to the governor, not a governor or subadar. Murshid Quli Khan seized all the power that went with that office. Bengal was one of the old Mughal provinces. It gradually broke away from Mughal control under his leadership. Like the rulers of Hyderabad and Oudh, he also commanded the revenue administration of the state. In order to reduce Mughal influence in Bengal, he transferred all Mughal Jagirdars to Orissa and ordered a major reassessment of the revenues of Bengal. Revenue was collected in cash with great strictness from all zamindars. As a result, many zamindars had to borrow money from bankers and moneylenders. Those unable to pay were forced to sell their lands to larger zamindars. The formation of a regional state in 18th century Bengal therefore led to considerable change among the zamindars. The close connection between the state and bankers was evident in Bengal under the rule of Alivardi Khan. During his reign, the banking house of Jagat Seth became extremely prosperous. There were three common features among these three states of Hyderabad, Oudh and Bengal. First, though many of the larger states were established by elsewhere Mughal nobles, they were highly suspicious of some of the administrative systems that they had inherited, in particular the Jagirdari system. Second, their method of tax collection differed. Rather than relying upon the officers of the state, all three regimes contracted with revenue farmers for the collection of revenue. The practice of Ijaradaris, which was thoroughly disapproved by Mughals, spread all over India in the 18th century. The Ijaradari system was introduced by Warren Hastings. According to this, the right to collect revenue was given to the highest bidder called contractor for a period of 5 years. This system was a failure because bidding was often not related to the actual productivity of the land. The third common feature in all these regional states was their emerging relationship with rich bankers and merchants. These people lent money to revenue farmers, received land and security. They collected taxes from these lands through their own agents. Hence, throughout India, the richest merchants and bankers were gaining great influence in the new political order.